morning guys, how are y'all doing? Hope you're doing fantastic. We have made it to Portugal. In today's video we're gonna give you an update of what we have been up to so far, and we're gonna give you some tips if you're planning on a road trip through France, Spain and Portugal. I am Miek, this is Leon, and we're living the van life with the cutest cat in the world, Mio. We transformed our campervan Peggy into our dream house and we love this lifestyle. Join our channel and follow our path as we discover Europe.
Welcome in Portugal. This is not gonna work. One thing to mention, if you're afraid of heights, this is not for you. Every time. Finally, the sun is out again.
Olha, já tenho aqui o passaporte. O nome é Jensen, J-A-N.
We left San Sebastian and we drove for 700 kilometers along the north coast all the way to Santiago de Compostela. On that trip we saw some amazing things, but one thing we just have to share with you. It's gonna be awesome. Spoiler alert, you might see some dragons.
Finally, the sun is out again. We are on our way from San Sebastian in the Basque country all the way to Santiago de Compostela, and we wanted to do this hike and make the visit to the real Dragonstone. It was so windy the last couple of days, and I think if we would have made this hike yesterday or the day before, then we would have flown off to the UK. But the sun is out, so let's see if we can find some dragons.
I'm so excited to be here, and for those of you who are quite new to our channel, Leon didn't always look like this. He used to have long hair and he would do a mean Jon Snow impression.
Winter is coming.
But for today we're gonna enjoy the sun and we're gonna see if we can get to the top. You coming with? Once again, don't come on flip-flops because it's really steep. Hiking boots. That's the footwear. That is right, we've made it to the top, and the views from up here are just breathtaking. It's so stunning, so pretty. So if you're interested in visiting this place as well, we'll put the website down below in the description so you can look it up yourself and how to get there. And don't ask me to pronounce the name because I can't. It's just real life Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, and one thing to mention, if you're afraid of heights, this is not for you. And if you don't like stairs, it's not for you either. Because it's like 500 steps up to the church, but it's like 10,000 steps up the mountain. I'll show you. We're halfway up the mountain. I'm not gonna bother you with the rest of the steps, so we'll meet you on the road to Santiago de Compostela. Santiago de Compostela.
Yeah, that didn't quite work out the way we planned it.
So we are in Santiago de Compostela at the moment. We arrived 2 days ago and wanted to go into the city yesterday, but we were waiting for a bus that never showed. That was probably our own doing because we were at the wrong bus stop. So we'll try again today. This is not gonna work. It's running every once in 2 hours. So we have to wait for 1.5 hours for the bus. We're not gonna do that.
And all the supermarkets are closed and we don't have dinner tonight.
It's Sunday.
It's super religious.
I think so, yeah. So, what next?
I think we're just gonna skip it.
Yeah.
So that was an epic fail, because we never actually got to see the city. So we were done with that, we jumped back into the van and we drove to Porto, Portugal, where we are right now, so you're all caught up. And this is where we sleep. This is a free camper parking lot, and there is even a tap for fresh water and a place to dump your grey water. There are 2 big supermarkets nearby, and the subway that goes into the city center is literally across the street. It takes 25 minutes to get into the city center, and it gives us a great safe feeling to leave Mio and Peggy here. So if you're interested where this exact spot is, we will leave the information in the description below. So without any further ado, enough chit chat, let's get into that travel tips.
Every time. We wanted to be in Portugal as quickly as possible, so we used a lot of toll roads through France, Spain and Portugal. By using them you quickly cover a lot of miles, but we found out that paying for the toll roads can be quite interesting. Nog meer, of niet?
Do you have those cards are not accepted. In Portugal there are a lot of problems with cards from home.
Okay.
We're going to pass you an invoice. Olha, já tenho aqui o passaporte. O nome é Jansen, Jan.
So we spent 20 minutes at that specific toll booth because it didn't accept our card. A guy came from out of nowhere and he took all our details and he gave us this invoice to pay anywhere at an ATM. So we went to an ATM and the ATM didn't accept our card as well, or at least didn't give us the option to pay an invoice like that. So we still haven't paid the invoice. So the tip here, bring some cash. Look at where we are. We have to be in the highway. Over there. And look at where we are now.
Dirt road, baby!
Oh, and speaking of the roads, driving on the main roads, the toll roads and the larger highways in either France, Spain, Portugal, really smooth and comfortable. But the smaller roads can be quite tricky.
So if you're doing a lot of miles, you also go through a lot of fuel. And if you're just a little bit more prepared than we have been, you might be able to save some pennies on fuel. Basically, France expensive, Spain cheap, and Portugal expensive again. So if you're in Spain, make sure to fill up your tank. And Leon has something to mention about the fuel in Portugal.
So here's a tip for you. If you want to get gas, don't be mistaken. Gasolina is like your regular petrol. Gasoleo is diesel. Don't be mistaken about that. In both Spain and Portugal, it's very common to have a siesta. A lot of people go home for lunch and a lot of shops and restaurants are closed in the afternoon. So keep that in mind if you are planning for some afternoon shopping or a bite to eat.
This is something we didn't know for 2 full days, but Portugal is actually in a different time zone than Spain. So we finally planned around the whole siesta and we still managed to turn up at a closed restaurant because of the time difference.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Obrigado.
Last but not least, if you're traveling through different countries with different languages, it might really be useful to learn a couple of basics.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Sim.
Sim.
Hola.
Hola.
Espero que estés bien.
Espero que estés bien.
Merci.
Merci. Ah.
Obrigado.
Obrigado.
Não, obrigado. Eu já trouxe minha própria sacola de compras. Não, obrigado. Eu já trouxe minha própria sacola de compras.
Obrigado. Obrigado. Okay, so there's obrigado and obrigada. And we don't know when to use which, either one of them. So we always end up with obrigado. But it works, we think.
Even though we had a lovely couple of weeks, we also found that the constant change of countries, languages, food, rules, culture, it can be quite intense. Something to keep in mind when you're planning a road trip yourself.
Now we're leaving tomorrow for Lisbon and we have a meetup planned with a lovely couple from the UK. They do van life here in Europe in their little blue van, so tune in next time when we explore the capital of Portugal together.
Now remember, be awesome, stay fantastic.